North America. This is just the physical. This is just the physical. Sir, there are two ways, two approaches to study this map. Two approaches. I'm going to expand this map. Just first I have an image of how this North America is looking. There are two ways to study this map. One approach, I can do the physical of North America, then I can do the political of North America. Physical, I will tell you the rivers, then political, I will tell the cities. That's it. The purpose of this class is to register certain things in your mind. Register certain things in your mind. Okay? I am going to do the physical, then I can do the political simultaneously. Or I can do the physical of the whole world, then I can do the political of the whole world, then you can do the physical political after I have done for each and every continent as an assignment. Sir, what is the difference in these two approaches which I said? First approach, I said that one continent, do the physical, then the political. Second approach, I said that all the continents physical, then all the continents political. Sir, what is the difference? Sir, it looks the same. No, sir. Every approach you adopt in UPSC has got a fine difference, and this fine difference make your preparation a tremendous change. Yeah, tremendous input change. See, if you are a slow reader, if you are a slow reader, if you can't comprehend things very fast, what you can do is one by one you can complete. Take one continent, do the physical, then gradually take the same continent, do fit the political on top of it, then do it gradually, then go to the move on to the next continent. Like this you can do. Sir, but if you think that, sir, I am actually a person who could remember simultaneously all the continents, all the mountains. If you tell the mountain range of the whole world, I could remember, sir, no issue for me. I can remember that. If you are of that character, you can do the other way. First, let us do this one continent, then we'll discuss how we have to proceed from here. Right? So, outwardly, this continent looks like this. See this outline of this continent, it looks okay. Like, if you ask me, it looks like an omelette. Okay, egg, the bridge in the tawa, then some kalaki in south we say. It looks like a kalaki omelette. Okay, but this is all the result of why the continent is not round, why it is not regular, why it is not shaped proper, because of this dynamics of this plate tectonics. Because of the dynamics of the plate tectonics, the continent can't be regular. One direction the continent is expanding, the plate is expanding, another direction the plate is contracting. As a result of this process, for millions of years, the present shape of each and every continent is established. The present shape of each and every continent is a result of the creation and the destruction of the continents plus all other external factors. The continent on one side is created, which is a plate margin, one side it is created. For example, if I have to take the clear example, this is the mid-Atlantic ridge. I don't know whether you could see it. If you want, I can expand it. Mid-Atlantic ridge, center of the Atlantic Ocean, mid-Atlantic ridge. This is actually a divergent plate boundary. Plates are born. America is everyday born here. American plate. Sir, here we have a plate boundary, this side, which is a convergent plate boundary. So the Pacific American plate, they converge and the plates are destroyed. So on one side the plates are created, another side the plates are destroyed. That is one process. Second process, I told you, I use the word external. External means, sir, this ocean, they act as an impact. Climate, they act as an impact on any continent. So all this finally make the shape of a continent look in a particular way as it is. So this is actually North America as a continent. Right. So first, outwardly, let us see maybe I'm starting from this place. I'm starting from this place. Which place, sir? Western part of North America. I am just going to make you familiarize with the names. You need not have to remember every name which I tell you. At least 20%, 20-25% retention if you do, that will make some change in your preparation. Just 20-25% preparation. 20-25% what I say, if you remember, some change is going to happen. Listen, here we have a Bering Strait. Bering Strait. What is this Bering Strait? It is a narrow water body separating two huge land masses. Actually, you can walk from America to Asia through this Bering Strait. You can walk. Sir, it is water body. It freezes. When it freezes, you can cross and go to this. This is the Asian part. I'll show you the other map. End I'll show you. The Bering Strait. So from America, actually, you can walk to Asia through this Bering Strait. And one more point about this Bering Strait is international date line, which is 180-degree east and west. International date line, it passes through the Bering Strait. International date line, it passes through the Bering Strait. And so one side is a different date, another side is a different date. Sir, what date is here? What is the date today? 3rd. Sir, here where I'm keeping the cursor, it is 3rd. So here it is still 2nd. In Seaward Peninsula, it is still 2nd. It is not reached 3rd. But here we are here in this side, the eastern part of the hemisphere. So it is 3rd here date. Anyhow, Alaska, we have small parts. This whole of Alaska surprisingly belong to this country. This is actually Russia. And Russia had the possession of this Alaska. And surprisingly, for whatever reason, for whoever guidance, Russia sold this Alaska to America for a very less money. When, sir? Just 150 years back. The exact year I am not remembering. It should be 1867 or something. When my memory says it is 1867, I don't know exactly. So the point is, Russia sold it to America thinking that this is nothing but a barren land covered with ice. No vegetative cover, nothing is there. And now we know that the whole territory, Alaska, has got huge minerals. Huge minerals. Notable among them is gold. Gold. Okay. So this is the Alaska. You remember this Alaska? Gulf of Alaska. Gulf of Alaska. And the north of this Alaska, we have the whole north, we have an ocean. Arctic Ocean. We have this Arctic Ocean. And there is an important river, Mackenzie. Remember the name? Mackenzie is the name of the river. Mackenzie River. And sir, in this Alaska, if you come down south to the land from Alaska to the Northern America, you come across so many small mountains and a big mountain range. Big mountain range. That big mountain range is extending almost the whole of the North American continent. The name of the mountain is called Rocky Mountains. Rockies, we call it. And the Rockies are actually the fold mountains. Fold mountains. They are formed because of plate tectonic activity. How Himalayas are formed, I told you in the previous class, a few class back. Similarly, Rockies are also formed because when the continents, according to the continental drift theory, migrated, we call this as drifting of the continent. The Pangea breaking into different parts according to the continental drift theory. The Pangea is breaking into different parts. So when they drifted, a buckling effect took place, led to the formation of the fold mountains, they say, the continental drift theory. But the plate tectonics says that it is just the plates. So the plate, when they came together, buckled effect, same, all they speak about the buckled effect leading to the formation of Rocky Mountains. So the Rockies are fold mountains in the north-south orientation in the western coast of North America. Remember each and every word I am telling. North-south orientation, fold mountains, western coast of North America. Right? Then we have small mountains, Cascade Range, coast mountains, Sierra Nevada, coast range. If you want, you may remember, you may not remember, but Rocky Mountains you should remember. Next, come to the right hand side or the eastern side of Rocky Mountains. We have a flat topography. A flat topography, which is the political Canada. I will show you this map. Flat topography. This has become so flat without any mountains or any plateau because of the impact of ice age. During the ice age, hundreds of feet of ice got accumulated north of this Tropic of Cancer, around 66 degrees. The whole of America, the whole of Northern Europe, parts of Asia, Northern Asia, they are all covered by dense ice, thick ice. The ice remained like this for many years, many hundred years, leading to doing the work of gradually eroding the surface. So largely they say because of the impact of this, most of the surface have become like this, plain. One more notable feature about this Canada physical is the presence of numerous lakes as a result of ice melt. The notable lakes: Great Bear Lake, Great Bear, can you see this, people? Great Slave Lake, great they had add because of big lakes. Then we have something which is called Lake Winnipeg. And other than this, let us directly come to these 5 Great Lakes, which are very important. 5 Great Lakes, which are important. What are they? Lake Superior. Lake Superior, the biggest of the lakes. Lake Michigan, the second one. I'm going from the left to the right, west to the east. Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. Lake Ontario. Let me repeat this again. Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. Once in one question paper, they asked the arrangement of the lakes from the left to the right. So you have to remember some lakes, mainly the 5 Great Lakes, they say in some order. These lakes act as the attraction of the population settlement. I am telling that geography makes polity, because without these lakes, nobody would settle. See this Chicago, it is located in the Lake Michigan. If there is no Lake Michigan, Chicago is not here. It would have gone somewhere. People would have migrated somewhere else. So Chicago is a result of the presence of Lake Michigan. So first built geography, then built polity, then everything, economy. Chicago is a very important industrial center. Detroit, we have, is another automobile center of the world. Automobile center of the world, Detroit. Anyhow, let it go. Then all the lakes, they drain into this St. Lawrence River. St. Lawrence River. Here between Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, we have Niagara Falls. The one side of the falls goes to Canada, the another side of the falls comes to USA. So people standing here and watching the falls, they actually are Americans. The other side people, Canadians, they can stand that side and watch this side. So it is a beautiful falls, I was told. Then St. Lawrence waterway we have, which is largely navigable, I was told. Then finally this waterway joins into the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Gulf of St. Lawrence. Please remember the word Laurentian. The whole part of Canada is called Laurentian Shield. They have given shield, and it is called as Laurentian, the name which they have given. Laurentian Shield, Laurentian Mountains, let it go. Remember this bay, Hudson Bay. And we have many small islands, and we do not want to do this all islands. Sufficient to know they are called as Queen Elizabeth Islands. Queen Elizabeth. Okay? And come to this place in the eastern part of Canada is Labrador. Labrador, a land. And the adjacent water body is Labrador Sea. Labrador Sea. Labrador land, Labrador Sea, and there is an ocean current here which is called Labrador Current as well. Ocean current. And this is a cold current because it is coming from the north poles. It should be a cold current. Labrador, Labrador Current, Labrador Sea. Then we have what is called as Davis Strait, separating America versus Greenland. Davis Strait.